Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Good morning, and welcome to your neighborhood Unitarian Universalist congregation. My name is Suzanne Mazars. I'm the music director here, and I have your announcements. First announcement is our Spirit Choir rehearsals Monday nights from 7 to 9. If you'd like to join the choir, talk to me after service. All are welcome to join. Our art gallery has 2 new shows, Retrace by Jungling and Ripples by Cameron Brook. And there's some examples here behind the band. You're welcome to check them out today after service or come in anytime during the week. Our speaker series, How Can We Pay More for a Just and Sustainable Society? Join the discussion on tax fairness at the next DMC speaker series, May 30th at 7 on Zoom. Details will be sent out in our Monday weekly email. And if you're not on the mailing list, you can write to office@nuuc.ca to receive our weekly announcements. Our C committee is meeting today following the service from 12:15 to 1:30 p.m. Believe we meet in that room over there. All are welcome to join to discuss neighborhood's next moves in social justice, climate action, and our 8th principle. Neighborhood Peace Ambassadors. The Healthy Congregations Committee is seeking members to act as peace ambassadors within the congregation. Peace ambassadors are committed to creating a safer, more inclusive environment for the entire neighborhood community and responding to issues or incidents as they might occur during our events or services. There will be info sessions in the coming weeks, training and support will be offered. For more information, you can talk to a member of the Healthy Congregations Committee, Bruce Line, David Zalkar, or Kim. And I see Bruce is here, and there's Kim's out there in the back. You're welcome to talk to them after service. Coming up in our space, the Ukulele Orchestra of Toronto presents a spring concert with special guests Transit Lounge. That's next Tuesday at 7:30. Here at Neighborhood. Get ready for next week's service, Reconciling with the Great Mother. You are invited to bring a photo or symbolic object of your mother or a mothering person in your life who was special to you to go on a special altar for the service's duration. You are also invited to investigate the female lineage in your family, if you have access to that, your mother's 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 mother, for example, and learn their names to share if you like during our Joys and Concerns ritual next Sunday. This week's question to the community: how have you reconciled to losses you have experienced? We will be posing this question to the community during our service. So you have some time to think about that. And as I mentioned, next Sunday, May 14th, is Making Peace with the Great Mother. Speakers are members of our Cakes for the Queen of Heaven small group. Our service weaver is Allison Kabayama. And music will be done by us as we'll be set up in a circle with our drums for a drum circle. You're also welcome to bring your own drums from home to participate.
Good morning, everyone. Good to see you all. Oh, sorry. Yes, microphone. Can everybody hear me? Here. There we go. Is that better? Okay. So welcome to Maybe We'll See the Sun Sunday. It's been an interesting week for all of us with all the rain, so I'm glad you're all able to come out. Welcome to our Neighborhood Unitarian Universalist Congregation service. Thank you for joining us here in the sanctuary or on Zoom. My name is Emmanuel, and I will be your service weaver this morning. Now, there's nowhere to go, and just be here now. So now let us bring our hearts, our minds, and spirit together as one as we give greetings and gratitude for being with each other. This is our threshold moment. Let's enter sacred space together. Center yourselves and find your comfort where you are. Our service begins now. Please join me in reciting the invocation that is shared on the screen above as we connect in spirit to celebrate wisdom together. Let us cast a circle of a sacred space here. Let us cast a circle of a cherished space here, a space of safety, a place of forgiveness, a place of love. If we want the world to change, we must craft in our space and ourselves seeds that grow a different kind of life. A life of graciousness, of creative intelligence, a place of life and spirit for ourselves and family. And today our chalice will be lit by Varen Getchell. Can you find it? Light this chalice to remember, to light the fire within our own hearts. Our prelude today will be sung by the Spirit Band.
Hello? This is a song by Sia, and I think it really fits with our theme, having the courage to change and accept your life.
1, 2, 3, 4.
World, I want to leave you better. I want my life to matter. I am afraid I have no purpose here. I watch the news on TV, abandon myself daily. I am afraid to let you see the real me. Rain it falls, pouring on me in the rain it falls, the rain it falls. Sowing the seeds of love and hope, love and hope. We don't have to stay stuck in the weeds. Have I the courage to change? Have I the courage to change? Have I the courage to change today? Have I the courage to change? Have I the courage to change? Have I the courage to change today? You're not alone in all this. You're not alone, I promise. Standing together we can do anything. You're not alone in all this. You're not alone, I promise. Standing together we can do anything. The rain it falls. Well, you're not alone in all this. You're not alone, I promise. Standing together we can do anything. I want to leave you better. I want my life to matter. I am afraid I have no purpose here. Rain it falls, pouring on me in the rain it falls, the rain it falls. Sowing the seeds of love and hope, love and hope. You don't have to stay stuck in the weeds. Have I the courage to change? Have I the courage to change? Have You're not alone in all this. You're not alone, I promise. Standing together we can do anything. You're not alone in all this. You're not alone, I promise. Standing together we can do anything. Courage to change, have I? The courage to change, have I? The courage to change today. Have I? The courage to change, have I? The courage to change, have I? The courage to change today. You're not alone in all this. You're not alone, I promise. Standing together we can do anything. You're not alone in all this. You're not alone, I promise. Standing together we can do anything. You're not alone in all this. You're not alone, I promise. Standing together we can do anything. You're not alone in all this. You're not alone, I promise. Standing together we can do anything.
Thank you so much. That was a wonderful song, especially the words to remember that we're not alone, especially when we're having challenges with disability, that we can reach out. Where I stand, I acknowledge the land where we live and work is the traditional territory of the many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat people, and is now home to many, many diverse First Nations, Inuits, and Métis people. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. This recognition of the contribution and historic importance of Indigenous people are clearly and overtly connected to a collective commitment to make the promise and challenge reconciliation. Neighborhood also acknowledges those who came here as settlers, as migrants, either in this generation or the generation before, and those of us who came involuntarily, particularly those brought to these lands as the results of the transatlantic slave trades. We pay tribute to those African origins and the descendants. Well, good morning again, and so glad you're here. Our musical director is Suzanne Mazars. Here's Suzanne. And we are fortunate to have the Spirit Band providing our music today. Zoriah Getchell takes care of the Sunday Child and Caregiving Program and will be presenting the story of all ages today. Our Zoom tech is Mark Timms, who's behind the scenes doing his best to keep us all together. And our AV desk will be attended by Reese Rogers. And finally, our speaker today is our very own Kurt Thomsen. To my right is the monthly altar, and we encourage you to share and bring in, to deepen the monthly theme of reconciliation by bringing in an object or something that has meaning for you that connect with this theme. We store them away, and after service, at the end of the month, we return them to you. Think of the table as a communal installation and bring something next week to add to it. Parents with children may want to take advantage of our optional wiggle room where you can hear but you can't be heard. And our assisted living device, which is available at the AV desk, is available if you need to try them out. Here at Neighborhood, we're open to many beliefs and we borrow from many traditions. We welcome all people looking for spiritual community. If you're visiting for the first time, we invite you and encourage you to stay after for coffee time. If you're willing, you can take a red mug so others will know that it's okay to approach you. Our service may vary from week to week, so we encourage you again to sample a few to get a feel of who we are. Our mission at Neighborhood is to empower spiritual growth and shared action for the care of our world. Our theme for May is reconciliation, making peace with self and others and with life. For this week, we focus on disability, losses, and gain. I start with the words of Stephen Hawking. Can we have the slide up? Oh, yes. My advice to other disabled people would be concentrate on the things your disability doesn't prevent you doing well. And don't regret the things it interferes with. Don't be disabled in spirit as well as physically. Most days, I consider myself fortunate to be a cheerleader for those that struggle with disability. I say most days on purpose. It can be trying at times. While the work is challenging, I'm privileged, though, to experience the incredible human spirit of individuals who choose to rise above it over and over again. A testament of the power within that inspires hope and wisdom for so many of us to follow. I am particularly reminded of a time when I lived in Central America on an island off the coast in Belize. I witnessed disability through different lenses, through physical to the spirit of individuals whose will to live blazed a phoenix from the ashes of their disability. Here there was no ODSP for them to fall back on. The spirit of the locals thrived as they became very creative in finding their way to survive. For me, one of the most powerful lessons regarding disability and the spirit to overcome it was when I observed the animals on the island in nature. One sunny morning while walking along the beach, I witnessed a one-legged bird defend his right to a scrap of bread against three other birds, seemingly with strong legs. As I watched the one-legged bird navigate and maneuver his wings in the air, he had gained an advantage. He had developed aviator wings. Acquiring a new ability, it gave him an edge. As he flew off with his prize, it became clear to me that disability with the right attitude and adjustment contains rewards and gifts. The bird had lost one leg, but gained a leg up, so to speak, and with his unique ability to transcend and navigate the skies. Disability isn't easy. I'm not trying to make this light. But we don't have to look far to see those who have succeeded and shared their losses and gain with us. Terry Fox, Jeff Healy, Burl Potter, Stephen Fletcher, Rick Hance, Margaret Trudeau, Elizabeth Manley, Amy Skye, Jim Carey, Ryan Reynolds, Howie Mandel, Sean Mendez. Some of these you might know. I encourage you to read their stories and how they were able to share their losses and gains with the world. And now it's time for our offertory. Oh, sorry. I want to get to the money real quick. It's time to greet your neighbors. After you have greeted a few neighbors, turn to the camera at the back wall and offer a greeting to those who are joining us virtually. Suzanne will sound a chime to end. Now, please take a moment to greet your neighbors.
Good morning.
Hi, everyone.
Howdy.
Oh, hi, Sigrid. I like I like the actually in American it's braids, but in Australian
Oh,
it's
it's
flat.
actually it's a twist. It's 2, not 3.
Ah, how pretty is that? Hi, Ayelet. Mainin. That's so nice to see
But
you.
thank you.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah. Good morning.
Peter and
Yeah.
Jillian. Hello, Peter and Jillian. Nice to see you on the same screen.
Yeah.
I
can't hear you, Peter.
Did you
Hi,
join Neighborhood,
Susan.
Islet?
Hi, Islet.
Eileen, so good to
Finally,
see you. It's
after
been
like
so
20 years.
long.
Susan, you're still muted.
Hi, Susan. Hi, Dina.
Hello, darling Yvette. It's so nice. I love the pictures you put on Facebook of the Mermaid Inn. It's definitely taking off. Your season has started, eh?
It sure has. It sure has. Come and visit me, people.
Hello, Doug.
Come and visit me.
We should come to Tobermory. Doug, look at you. You've got a completely white goatee. I think it looks very good on you.
Hello, Mark.
Hi,
Deidre, this is
Peter
Jake.
Jillian. Oh, that's better, Peter.
Ah,
That's better.
oh,
We
hi.
can see your room.
Say hi, James. Hi.
hi.
Oh.
Whatever they're looking at. That was good. We got a split
Yeah.
second. That's enough.
Teenagers.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mark, for
That's
helping behind
very
the
good.
scenes. And Reese, thank you, thank you.
Mhm.
Deidre, that's
Yeah.
my little one that you knew so many years ago.
When it was little,
Go back to
when it was smaller. Yeah.
They grow up so fast.
Mm-hmm.
Eileen, how old is Sage? How old is Sage now?
22.
Wow.
Oh my
And
gosh.
My little one goes by Jace now, and Jace is 16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. That makes me feel old. 22? How is
We're
that
going
possible?
to sing Circle Game by Joni Mitchell.
Good to see everybody.
This is special to me because my daughter's about to turn 20.
Be well, everyone.
Oh, we're not connected to the outside. They're doing Joys and Concern.
You're all welcome to sing along with us. Yeah, why not? Thanks for the cue, Allison.
Yesterday a child came out to wander, caught a dragonfly inside a jar. Fearful when the sky is full of thunder, and tearful at the falling of a star. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on the carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came, and go round and round and round in a circle game. Then the child moved 10 times round the seasons, skated over 10 clear frozen streams. Words like when you're older must appease him, and promises of someday make his dream. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on the carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came, and go round and round and round in a circle game. 16 springs and 16 summers gone now. Cartwheels turn to car wheels through the town, and they tell him, take your time, it won't be long now, till you drag your feet too slow and circles down. And the seasons, they go round and
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to invite the young and the young at heart down to the front because it's time for our Time for All Ages. And before we get started, no, you don't need a microphone. Before we get started, I wanted to just take a second and thank Kurt Thomsen, who's come today to talk to us about disability losses and gains. Thank you, Kurt. For our Time for All Ages today, I wanted to take a minute to talk to you about one of my favorite stories, The Paper Bag Princess. The story is about Princess Elizabeth, and there should be a slide coming up for her just a second. A happy young princess who lived in a castle and was all set to marry a handsome prince named Ronald. Seems nice, right? Like everything's gonna go pretty smoothly. Well, except maybe for who she's marrying. He looks kind of mean to me. Anyway, nice happy start to the story, right? Wrong. Next slide. In comes a huge dragon who smashes her castle, burns up all her stuff, and flies away with her fiancé. Now, I could imagine that for Princess Elizabeth, that something like this could feel pretty disabling. Her power, her privilege, her home, and her position in the world have all been taken from her. She can no longer move through the world in the same way that she had before. I would think it would be easy for Elizabeth to sink into sadness right there in her blasted apart castle, but she doesn't. With our next slide, she leans into the chaos, finds a new way to move through the world, finding the only thing in the stone castle which didn't burn, which happened to be somehow a paper bag that's large enough to wear as a dress. That part never made sense. But she put it on and set off to try and get back what must have felt like the only thing she had left, Ronald. And when she found the dragon's home, she had to figure out a new way to get what she wanted. In our next slide, she charms the dragon and tricked it into wasting all its fire and flying all the way around the world until it was too sleepy to move. Elizabeth beat the dragon with just her wit and her words. So when she went inside and rescued Ronald, and he was mean to her because she didn't look the same, Elizabeth realized what she had gained from her journey. In our next slide, she had gained confidence in herself and in her own mind. And she realized that with those gains, she didn't feel the need to chase after that old life she'd lost anymore. So she left Ronald alone in that dragon's cave and danced off into the sunset. Yeah. And I like to think that she was much happier than she would have been if she'd married Ronald. What do you think? Yes. Yeah? Well, thank you for listening for our Time for All Ages. Shall we go back to our room now? Yes.
Sorry, technical difficulties here. Okay, we're coming to the point in the service where we have our question to community. So we just put the slide up again. How have you reconciled with a loss in your life? So we'll take a few questions here in the sanctuary. And since Reese helped us get Zoom back up and the sound going, yay! Applause, everybody, for Reese. We'll take a few, maybe it's 3 in the congregation and maybe another 3 on Zoom. Okay.
So when I was between the ages 11 and 13, I was diagnosed with scoliosis, which is a curvature of the spine. And it actually ended up getting worse. And so I now live with a curvature that I might not have needed to have as severe as it is. But I reconciled with it when I thought to myself, you know, the gift is I still have a body. and I need to accept the body as it is because that's my little spaceship on this planet. So that's how I reconciled.
So I work with music. I produce music, and I've realized that I've lost hearing in my right ear or my left ear by 40%, although they don't know what the cause is. So it really bummed me out for a while because I mix music, and it's sort of like the balance of the sound is off in the left. And so I thought, how am I going to make the music and appreciate the music like I used to? And for a while it was hard, but then I realized that, you know, sound and experience it's like a relative thing that shapes to your experience. So I realized that the sound that comes through to me, that's the sound I get, and that's still a beautiful image of sound to me, and I can still work with it.
Thank you.
So when Patty spoke, I mentioned, sorry, my brain just stopped. My self-diagnosis of autism, it's been really hard coming to terms with the fact that it is a disability and all of that, and reconciling it. I use the gains because while there are new things I have to learn about, and while there is skill regression, which it's not fun, the joy I'm able to experience now, understanding myself, and the freedom in the moments where I'm unmasked and open is unlike any joy I've ever experienced in my whole life.
Thank you. Mark, is there anyone on Zoom?
Can people hear me?
Mark, they can hear you, Mark.
Dee Dee, go ahead.
Yeah, can you hear me? I have a lot of time where I experienced depression in where my brain and my heart only work half as hard as they could. And but I have used that time when I really couldn't work to, one, be with my children, and two, I was with the comfort choir where I learned to really improve my voice and my harmonizing. So the fact that my brain didn't work as well helped me to be a better mother and helped me to have a better voice.
Thanks, Dee Dee. Is there anyone else? That looks to be it at this time.
Hi, I
Oh,
think
sorry,
that for
Yvette.
me, it's been my need for use of glasses. You know, being dependent on anybody or anything is definitely a challenge for me. And not being able to go anywhere without these glasses on is definitely been something I'm trying very hard over the last 10 years to just accept and welcome and be grateful that I can actually wear glasses to fix my vision. It's a simple fix, and I should be grateful for that.
That looks to be it at this time.
Oh, wait, one person wants to speak.
Good morning. Best gift is to have empathy, more empathy for others, whether young, old, or whatever.
Thank you. And thank you, everyone, for sharing. And it's not easy to sometimes reconcile with disability. It can be very difficult. And I'll just speak for myself. Years ago, I was on the trajectory to become an actor and a model in New York. And unfortunately, my life fell apart and I ended up in the hospital. And you wouldn't see me here today if that didn't happen. But through that experience, I learned to appreciate beauty in everything and everyone and see the Spirit shining through in so many ways. So that's my gift from disability that I wanted to share with you. That was a tough time, I can imagine, for all of us. We can all just take a breath and just release all that heaviness, that energy. Just let it go. Let it go. We're here. We're here now. Now, I'd like to introduce our speaker. When we lose our part of ourselves to disability, sometimes the gains are not obvious. However, if we let ourselves sit in the unknown and the chaos, we may find gains we're not expecting. This is reconciliation with ourselves that must be made before we may reconcile with others. Our speaker today, Kurt Thomsen, shares personal lessons we can all learn from our own reconciliation journeys. Kurt Thomsen is a longtime member of Neighborhood and a service weaver. He has an Honors Bachelor of Arts in English from York University. Recently, he has been exploring disability with spirituality. Let's welcome Kurt. And Kurt will lead us in a meditation and then share his message with us.
I would be standing, but with this boot, it's a bit difficult for the moment. All right. All right, just putting that there. All right. Just move this. Get that. Hold on. Okay. Okay, so make yourselves comfortable. Close your eyes, if you will. We are in a safe space. I emphasize we are in a safe space because just imagine yourselves in the safety of the eye of a hurricane. You are not be harmed, I repeat, but just feel yourself inside of the eye of this hurricane, where you can feel and see everything around you. Just feel the chaos, feel the unknown, hear all the cacophony, see all the clutter of colors and images and shapes. And just maybe, you might hear something new. A song, an idea, or in the visuals you might see a picture, a face, a pathway. If you have any thoughts that have come to you from the unknown of the chaos, just sit with it for another minute or so. See what revelations you may find. And when you feel comfortable, slowly but surely come back to the space where we sit together. Before I get started, this is an unusual time for me to do this in the middle of the year. Usually I'm doing these talks in the summer, so you usually don't get as many people. So, in order to get into the feel of what I'll be talking about today, let's read this satiric quote from Mostly Harmless by Douglas Adams, which is written in the form of a prayer. Suzanne, will you just let me? Okay. Please read with me. Protect me from knowing what I do not need to know. Protect me from even knowing that there are things to know that I don't know. Protect me from knowing that I decided not to know about the things I decided not to know about. And now for the punchline, which is in some ways very important. Just let me know when that's up. Lord, 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 protect me from the consequences of the above prayer. Amen. And amen to the phone. In this first week of reconciliation, I believe it's necessary to reconcile with ourselves before we can do so with others. And a loss is something that can be very devastating to us in society and ourselves. And we have to understand that before we can go on with our lives, with ourselves, and with others. That satiric quote we just read demonstrates our fear of the unknown and how we often choose to ignore it. Now, I'm sure you know people who are like this, and I'm sure sometimes we are like this. People who feel a loss when society changes, or when we are forced to change to accommodate to someone who may feel marginalized. This loss of privilege is a disabling loss to some people. They feel that their world is turned completely upside down, and they can't understand anything in it, and would rather cement their feet to the spot and futilely turn the clock backwards to a more comfortable time. But if they'd only sat in the silence and maybe looked into the unknown, the clutter, they might have found companions in their journey of life instead of rivals. To those of us with disabilities, sometimes a gain cannot be automatically seen when we have a loss, when we look in the clutter and all the bags of metaphoric stuff that's in our minds. I'm sure all of us have all these bags of stuff in our minds that we can't sort through. Well, anyways, get to what I may have gained, I have to get through this first, is that for over 40 years of my life, yes, I've been legally blind, but my condition was pretty much stable. It was, everything was the same. Then shortly after my 40 years, I started noticing my ability to print was diminishing. I had to enlarge the text and bold it, and within a couple of years, I had to start using magnifiers and electronic magnifiers. I went to see optometrists, and they confirmed my ignorant assumption that it was just merely aging. But after the COVID pandemic hit, my eye condition really started going down, and I had to come to terms with things were starting to really get worse. So my GP hooked me up with a corneal specialist. I got glaucomic treatments to reduce the pressure in my eyes, and eventually a new cornea, which seemed to be working for a few months. Unfortunately, after that, it perforated and my vision really started going bad. And the fear and the anger really kicked in. I remember the morning when it perforated, I really screamed at the top of my lungs out of total fear. And if Christina were here this morning, I'd let her explain how much it scared her. I know this may seem superficial, but I lost some of my favorite things at the time. I love animation. I love comics. I love film and TV. And I could no longer appreciate this in the same way. Thank goodness that modern day animation has very high quality voice acting, or else I'd really be going nuts. So I asked my doctors again at this time, if I'd come earlier, if there would be something they could have done about it. And they said, well, not really. They probably wouldn't have noticed it. And then I asked them, well, I said, like, all the things I was doing at a time, especially with screens, all the time I was on screens, and they were saying, well, that probably wouldn't have done this much since my condition was pretty unique. And my doctor said the surgery I went through was pretty much what is called a Hail Mary surgery, so which means it was just basically a shot in the dark surgery, as it were. So I had really nothing more to be angry about. But also at this time, I had been working in the post-production field, doing quality control on descriptive videos, and the anger and the fear that I was feeling wasn't letting me understand the gain that I had. All the understanding I had of film and TV that I've learned through college and university was coming in handy, because I was able to translate what I understood from that to improve the descriptive videos for those people who can't see. And how did I do this? When I was in my calm moments, I was looking in the chaos, not indulging in it, but just looking at it and letting it guide me to a new idea. Now, I'm not talking about unfettered chaos, which is basically self and community destructive. In the same way, unfettered order is stagnant petrification. We need both order, which is stability, and chaos, which is growth. Chaos is how children grow. Children's lives are completely chaos. That's how they grow. That's how they learn. And we need that. Here at Neighborhood, we have gone through chaos as well. I mean, we understand that a surfer has to ride the wave, not control it. Because if he tries to control it, it's going to wipe out. And we understood that here at Neighborhood because we've gone through some losses too. I mean, first, we had to sell Hiawatha. Second, the pandemic, which has its own, like, lot of baggage of loss. Third, our minister from the beginning that has been with us for over 20 years, Wayne Walder, retired. And then fourth, we couldn't find an interim minister to guide us through this transitional period. But what did we do? We brainstormed, which is essentially looking into the chaos. Now, of course, we had some differences of opinions, a bit of headbutting here and there, but we listened to the different ideas. And we found our way through this first year of our transition because we listened and we grew. Again, I say we butted our heads, and yes, the fear is there. Do we know if we're going to be surviving? We don't know, but, you know, we hope we will. The fear is going to be in the back of our minds, but we just move beyond it as best we can. Now, of course, this can also affect our relationships, you know, losses, these disabling losses. My father and I had a very disabling loss for quite a few years. Sometimes I don't remember quite how it started. Well, sort of do, but sort of don't. And we weren't talking to each other for quite a few years. But then my mom had a stroke, and I had to realize that, well, is this difference between my dad and I going to cause my mom to suffer more? So I had to put the anger and everything aside. Now, that's still there. All those feelings toward my dad are still there, and I still have anger, but I had to put that aside. But then I realized when I put that aside and when I was confused and wondering how to move forward, I realized there was still love in the relationship. And that's how we were able to move on in the last few years of my mother's life. But there was fear. There was fear that we didn't know how to handle the situation. Like I have fear every day when I attempt to cross certain streets because I'm scared that I may swerve into oncoming traffic or someone may grab me and totally disorient me. But here again is where I found a gain that I didn't even know I could use in this situation. I have a lot of, ear training that I've used when I've been learning music and, when I'm critiquing animation and seeing, okay, how good is this voice actor? How bad is that voice actor or that sound effect there? And I was able to use that to say, okay, this is where the oncoming traffic is. This is where the idling traffic is, and do that. In a way, it's like when those of us who have to look for a job in a field that might not be our chosen field. We have to do what's, transferable skills. Find those transferable skills and, okay, this skill can work here, this skill can work here. And that's looking into the clutter and the chaos to find some reconciliation with our skills and find a new path to a new job or a new way of thinking. Now, there is one thing I've been subtly referring to for this whole talk so far. And that's essentially, and actually Helen actually made a hint of this in Joys and Concerns, is that when we have a loss, it's never all at once. Now, it will be, in some ways it would be tragic, but it would be great, because if I lost my sight all at once, okay, my eyes are gone, this is the way my life is now. It's tragic, but I can reconcile with this, and I can deal with this all at once. My vision loss was up, down, up, down. Some days a little better, some days a little worse. Got the new cornea, I thought things were gonna get better, and then it's very much like these past 3 years with COVID. Okay, we have restriction. Lifted restrictions, rising restrictions, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. It's a headache. It's confusing. And do we know where we're going to go with this? No. But it's like any reconciliation with yourself or with anybody else. It never happens all at once. It's constantly changing. And we have to change to go with it. A few butting heads, a few rocks here and there. But we just let the path lead us to where we need to. Now, it's not just saying let one path lead. Sometimes when we look into the chaos, there might be only one path. Sometimes there may be quite a few. We just have to decide which path to take. But when we just look into it without going headlong, like I said before, that's dangerous. We might find a new area, a new way of thinking, and who knows, a new way of enlightenment. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Kurt. We can all identify with some of the words that you've shared. Yeah, I know. Now it's time for our offering. This congregation is a living entity, and like all living things, it must have nurture and sustenance. If you contribute with pre-authorized withdrawals, thank you. As we contribute to the life of the community, we affirm our lives within us. If you're online, please use the link displayed on the screen, which leads you to our donation page on our website. In all ways, I ask you to be generous. We can have the greeters, the basket weavers. Please bring the basket after you're done. Suzanne, yes, will lead us now in a song.
Took my love and I took it down. Climb a mountain and I turn around. And I saw my reflection in the snow-covered hills till the landslide brought me down. Mirror in the sky, what is love? Can a child within my heart rise above? Can I sail through the changing ocean tide? Can I handle the seasons of my life? Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built my life around you. But time makes you bolder, children get older, I'm getting older too. I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built my life around you. Time makes you bolder, children get older, I'm getting older too. Oh, I'm getting older too. Oh, take my love, take it down. Oh, climb a mountain and I turn around, and I see my reflection in the snow-covered hills. Well, the landslide will bring you down. And if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, well, the landslide will bring you down. Oh, the landslide will bring you down. Thank you.
If you have found love and acceptance here, if you have home here, if you have known kindred spirits, let this offering be a token of your gratitude for the common good. Now we'll sing together.
Dishonors those who go before us, so lift me up to the light of change. I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us, so lift me up to the light of change. There is hurting in my family, there is sorrow in my town, there is panic in the nation, there is wailing the whole world round. I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us, so lift me up to the light of change.
Little children, see more clearly. May the elders seem so wise. May the winds of change caress us, even though birds arise.
I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us, so lift me up to the light of change.
Give me a mighty oak to hold my confusion. Give me a desert Give me a sunset to hold my wonder. Give me an ocean to hold my tears.
I am open and I am willing to be hopeless. Would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change. So I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change. I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change. So lift me up to the light of change. So lift me up to the light of
Wow. Thank you so much, Spirit Band, for that uplifting song. So wonderful. I invite Baron to come up and extinguish our chalice. Although our chalice has been broken, we hold our fire within our own heart. And so wonderful to see you all connect. I don't have to say this other thing then. Everyone's connected already. So today I leave you with this thing. I believe inside all of us is a beautiful, indescribable essence. Call it what you may. When we can connect to this, we transcend our struggles to experience who we truly are. I urge you to make time every day to cultivate a strong spirit, and your soul will fly free from all disability. Our service is ended. Go in peace. Go in peace.